Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen. And
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this impromptu Dion's Daily Dose. Hope when you get some time, you can watch it. I expect a lot of you are very busy on 5 o'clock on a Saturday night. Normally, I would be too. We were out doing some door knocking, and my son had to come home. So I was like, you know what? We'll just do a video real quick, and then I'll get back out there. I just wanted to talk a little bit. I'm gonna give you guys some interesting insight, I suppose, into myself and kind of some of the things that I've been through. Actually, I saw the Chesterton Tribune article, and it kind of reminded me of some things. First of all, I'd like to say to Chesterton Tribune, if you guys are watching or run across this, I appreciate the reporting. You guys did a good job. It was very balanced, very fair. It gave some information on both sides. It wasn't just, taking some press releases that the candidate used. They actually, looked at some forums, got some information, and then looked at the candidates' websites, etc. So I appreciate that. So we're 3 days away from the election. I just want to say, vote. Even if you don't vote for me, vote, please. Get out there and vote. For those of you that believe that the machines are a bad thing, numbers are what it takes to overcome the algorithms. For those of you that think everything's legit or whatever, numbers are what you need to win a seat. So no matter what, get out there and vote. So one of the things that I wanted to do, and I talked about this on the radio the other day, one of the things that I'd like to do once elected is I would actually like for there to be a database for the people who take care of those with developmental disabilities, the most vulnerable among us, people who can't stick up for themselves, people who are unable to defend themselves in many, many cases. Currently, as it sits, there is no database that people who have been convicted of crimes, people who have been convicted of abuse, people who have, I'm not talking about accusations, I'm talking about convictions, for cause kind of thing. There's nothing like that. There exists in the nursing world, right? So nurses that abuse the system, for lack of a better term, are put into a database, and companies have access to this database before they hire nurses, and they can look at this and go, oh wow, this person did this, do we really want to hire them? And it's not an automatic no, you're never going to get hired. It gives people another resource to look at. I would like to introduce that, a separate system, into the developmental disability community. I would like to see a way to incorporate that. And I've talked about it before, and I've had some legislators say, well, that might be a potential problem because we're talking about, liability and innocent until proven guilty kind of thing. Right. I'm not talking about you file a report and someone is automatically entered into this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an actual legit system that takes people who have been found guilty of abuse or something, neglect, things like this, and they are entered into a database so that a company, and I just want to say, you'll have to pardon the hair. It was very, very windy today. I forgot to bring my cap in here. I guess I could grab Trump's hat out the back, but whatever. I would like there to be a database so that people can feel protected. Another thing that I want to say that I think is really important, and I talked about this also on the radio this morning. Look, we have a wide variety of beliefs and things that are important to us here in District 9, right? Maybe you are adamantly for something that my opponent is. Maybe you're adamantly against something that I'm for, whatever. Let me ask you this, and I I mean, really, no disrespect at all. What do you believe that the true chances of my opponent actually being able to accomplish something in the next 2 years is? And again, no disrespect intended. Um, they are unwilling to work with the supermajority. They have proved this over and over. They write bills that have no chance of going anywhere. They're simply to make a statement, right? They're to rattle some sabers or whatever, but nothing happens. Nothing actually gets done. We get no assistance up here. We don't get bills that further lives of people in District 9. Wouldn't you prefer to have someone that is a member of the supermajority that can actually get things done, that can actually bring economic development up here, that can bring assistance up here, that can work with the legislators down there to make some things happen? I mean, there are lots of things that I don't disagree with my opponent on a surface level environment, right? We got to protect our environment. My kids drink this water. I drink this water. Coal ash is a huge issue, but my opponent has not been able to get anything done in that regard. Um, I am passionate about my kids having clean water too, and your kids. I I laugh about it. It's not funny, but the end result is nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. It's X number of dollars of salary that is accomplishing nothing. One of the things that I'd like to start doing, and I actually talked to who did I talk to about this? Oh, no. Well, anyway, I talked to several people at several different times. That's why I'm like, well, maybe it was them, maybe it was them. No, I've talked to a number of people that we'd like to organize town halls, right? Both virtually and in person, um, so that we can facilitate communication between you, the voter slash viewer, and the people that you've elected to represent you downstate. Not just downstate, but locally as well. I think it would be, I haven't seen any. I certainly haven't seen any in the last 4 years uh, by anybody. One of the things that we were told was that Frank Mervan, for example, when he ran in 2020, yeah, was that he would be opening an office in Michigan City and he would be offering assistance, right? He'd be there for us. Um, Look, I disagree with Frank Mervan's policies, but one of the things that's frustrating to me as a voter is seeing these politicians, these people make these promises and then fail to carry through with it. So it's unfortunate. That's one of the things I'd like to change. I would like to have forums. I would like to have opportunities for you to address the people that you elect, right? And again, both virtually and in person. If you can make it out to the forum or the town hall or the whatever, phenomenal, right? Great. If you can't, then you can just tune in, right? Via Facebook Live or YouTube, or there's such a wealth of technology out there now. There's no reason that any person elected cannot communicate with you, the voter, in a direct fashion. There is no reason why they can't use social media, why they can't, and not just, one particular social media platform, right? There are those who just use Facebook, and yeah, they do, put out a press release now and then, or they'll give you a link or they'll share something. But there are so many different social media platforms and so many potential opportunities for them to reach out. I'd like to see, and not just my position, but up and down the ballot, as it were. I would like to see more of our elected officials utilize these types of communication platforms, right? Whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. I could sit here obviously for an hour and list off so-called social media sites, but I think that it's really important for us as voters to have an open line of communication to those that are supposed to be representing our interests. So that's that. So I had a couple people reach out to me and ask the story of my brother. Right. So my brother passed away when I was very young. I was 5, so I barely remember him. But it was my older brother. He was named Paul, and he died when he was 9, and I was 5. He actually had neuroblastoma, and it's a really long, complicated word, but they misdiagnosed him with leukemia at the time. And the treatment for leukemia is different than the treatment for neuroblastoma. So the short version is he died in a very painful, unnecessary way. It really changed my mom. I don't remember. I don't remember much before then, but after that period, she really changed. So mental illness is a really powerful topic for me. It's something that I'm, really passionate about investing in as a community, as a state. Uh, the effects are not, a lot of times aren't visible, right? We don't see them on a day to day basis as we do regular, illnesses, right? I say regular, the physical ailments that people can see, right? A broken arm, quite easy to identify. Schizophrenia is something completely different. We, we've we've started to have the conversation about ways that we can go about investing in mental illness treatments and identification and diagnoses and things like that. Uh, I think it's an important conversation to have, and I believe that it's something really critical that we kind of need to step up on. Now, obviously, there are challenges with this. I'm not blind to that. There is something that needs to happen there, and it's going to take all levels of government working together to work on this. It's not anything that can easily be solved by one individual, one even branch of government. It's going to take all of this. It's and a lot of times, horrible tragedies are chalked up to mental illness without actually looking into what what causes this, right? So one of the things that my mother struggled with was alcohol and drugs. She relapsed several times throughout my childhood, and it's one of the reasons we, lived in abject poverty, and it's one of the reasons why I was easily on, becoming a statistic track. Um, so there are things that we can do, right? Uh, just because someone has a mental illness doesn't make them any less important or any less injured than those who have a physical illness or those who have a physical ailment. Doesn't mean they're disabled. It just means that it's a different type of situation that needs to be looked at and needs to be. We need to invest in it. We need to invest in treatments. We need to invest in the process of diagnosing them, and we need to be better, right? We need to do better. And these are all things that I'd like input on. What do you guys think we can do better? How can we provide a better environment for those with and without, right? A lot of us have friends, family members that we've seen struggle with it, not just alcoholism or drug abuse, but schizophrenia or any number of other mental illnesses because they're out there. You know, uh, it's something that has touched me on a personal level, obviously. So that played a large part, right, in my childhood. It kind of shaped the person that I was, and like I said, I was well on my way to being a statistic. being in abject poverty, not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. I mean, I've been homeless. I've eaten out of dumpsters. I've begged businesses for their leftover foods. Been there, right? And that was the kind of the track that I was on when I, had issues in when I was living in Louisiana at the time, and served a short amount of jail time in county jail for criminal damage to coin-operated vending machines. Yes, the charge is just as stupid as it sounds, but I was involved in it. I was with someone who did it, which makes me just as guilty, and I served my time. But the important part of that isn't that I screwed up. The important part is I learned from it. I changed my life. I said, I don't want to do this anymore, right? I don't want to be the person who is rotating in and out of correctional facilities. I don't want to be the person that gets out, commits another crime, goes back. So what can I do? How can I change my life? And that's what I did. I haven't had any legal issues like that since. I was like 19, 20 years old after it was all over, about 20. So long time, almost 30 years ago. So it's possible, right? It's possible. It's doable. After that, I became a truck driver. Did that for a while until I was unable to do so, and then I became a correctional officer. I had a few jobs before before then. My very first job was when I was 13. I did volunteer work at the Michigan City Humane Society. So I actually started there, like I said, as a volunteer, and that's back when they were on Carwick Road. I don't know if you guys remember. They were on Carwick Road there, and I would bike from my house to out there, take care of the animals, and I could go on for a long time about the people who devoted their lives to helping the animals there and how much I looked up to them. But after a little time passed, I did that for, I think, a couple of summers. I worked there, and then I helped out when I could during the school year. And then I had to actually go and get a job that paid money because I had to. So unfortunately, I went to the place, and I'm like, look, as much as it breaks my heart to do so, because at the time I was volunteering at the Humane Society and at Freed's Cat Shelter. I said, I can't volunteer anymore. I have to go and get a job that pays. Unfortunately, I got to help out around the house, and we're broke. So they actually went to the I don't know, their boss, the district manager, whatever, the person in charge, and was like, hey, can we hire him on? And I was young at the time. I don't remember. I think I might have been 15 because I had done it for a couple of years working there. And they hired me on. And then unfortunately, one of the things that, was a symptom of my mom's illness was the need, or at least what she perceived as the need to run from problems. She moved around the country rather frequently, and took me with. So all of a sudden she announces, hey, we're moving to Louisiana. And so this was when I was about 15, almost 16. So we moved to Louisiana, had stuff there. I ended up moving back up here, back and forth. The point is, there for a while. I kind of stayed up here once I was in my early 20s, with a very short period elsewhere. But in general, that's why I say the vast majority of my life I've been up here, and I do love it up here. The point is, I probably would have continued doing that for maybe forever. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. The Humane Society is it's both one of the most amazing places and one of the most heartbreaking places you can be. And I try to go by there when I can. But animals have always had kind of a special place, in my heart, because they're so innocent. I mean, a lot of times humans act with such, such vindictiveness or ulterior motives or all of that stuff, whereas animals are very, law of the jungle-y. Their motives are, other than cats. Cats are cats are aliens. I'm kidding, but there are a lot of different things that have had the impact on my life, but that was probably one of the first. My my teenage years, my formative, teenage years. I went to Elston back when Elston was a thing. I lived there the really formative, important years. I lived on 11th Street, so I walked to Elston, and I actually had no, you know what? I'm not gonna get it. It's not fair to him. He did. I had a childhood friend who did some stupid stuff, and I'm sure he's changed just like I've changed. He's actually active politically, and I was gonna say something, but again, it's not fair to him, and I'm sure that he's changed. So it doesn't matter. We've all had life defining moments, I'm sure. Uh, the death of my brother wasn't so much life defining for me as it was life changing because of how it changed. Um, so it wasn't that it affect. I mean, sure it did affect me, but I was so young that I don't really remember. But the ripple effect that it had on my family and on the people that I was close to, it changed a lot about how my life was going, right, and how things were, progressing, what we were able to do, what we were able to afford. A lot of things changed. My mom obviously fell into a depression, and I want to make sure I'm really really fair to my mother, and that is she she loved me with all of her heart. She did the very very best that she could to take care of me. I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying she was a bad mom, because she wasn't. My mom has passed away, so it's not like it's not like it matters. But I want to make sure that the record's set straight. Uh, my it's kind of wild. My mom died, and then about about a year, was it a year, 2 years after that, little over a year, my father passed. Now I wasn't really close with my dad growing up. I think I mentioned that before at all. He was kind of in and out of the picture. He would stop by every once in a while, and by every once in a while I mean like every few years. I'd see him once. He actually contracted bone cancer, and it's probably one of the most horrific, painful experiences that I've ever seen. It was just, oh my god, it was horrible. We got a call that he was dying and he wanted to see his children. I was actually the only one that bothered to show up, and it wasn't because it wasn't because I owed him anything, because I didn't. It wasn't because I particularly wanted to see him, because I didn't. Um, I I showed up because I wanted to, and fair or not, good or not, whatever. I wanted to give him the opportunity to have the closure that he could. Again, none of his other children bothered to show up. There was this big argument after about money and anything that he might have left. He wasn't a rich man. There was no money. There was an old truck and a trailer, and it blew my mind that people were so incredibly petty. Um, I didn't want any of it, even though I was struggling. I mean, it blows my mind to this day, and I understand, that people are motivated by different things. You got to have money to survive, and all of that. I get all that. But death seems to bring out the worst in people. The greed, the unbridled hatred. It just it's wild, right? It's wild. And so after my mom died and then my dad died, I ended up moving back up here because my mom passed away when I lived up here. We ended up moving to Louisiana because my mom didn't live up here anymore. Uh, we moved down for to be with my wife's family at the time, and then when my dad died, I was on the road like all the time. I was driving truck, and I was miserable. She was miserable. My kids were miserable. So we kind of sat down and we had a very amicable divorce. But I moved back up here and lived here pretty much ever since. So it was, matter of fact, yeah, that was kind of the major turning point that led me to move back up here. And at the time I was driving truck, there was very little family left up here. The reason that I moved back was because I actually really like the area. I love the lake. I love the people. I like the change of seasons. That was one of the things about Louisiana. Like it's always either hot or not so hot, right? There's not much in the way of leaf changing colors, at least where I lived. It was, south of New Orleans. You also got like cypress trees and stuff like that. It was a very, I don't want to say bland because there's a lot, obviously a lot down there. But as far as landscape goes, monotone. There wasn't the bright colors and all of that. There was this dark green aura, and the people down there, right? At least again, where I lived, and obviously Louisiana is a big state. It's people in Monroe are very different than people in New Orleans or Nolens, I should say. Houma, which is the town that I was born in, are very different than Lafayette, etc. Just like in Indiana, right? Michigan City is very different than Indianapolis, which is very different than Evansville. But the area that I lived in Louisiana, people they just drank, they fought, and had relationships. That's what they did. That's all they did. Um, and they worked hard, they played hard. That was the what they said, right? Work hard, play hard. And play hard generally meant drinking yourself into a stupor and stumbling around, maybe driving home drunk. It was not any kind of life that I wanted to lead. I wanted to be different. I wanted to live differently. I wanted to be more than that. So that's one of the reasons. There were several, but that's one of the reasons why I moved back from Louisiana. And I still love Louisiana. I still love, visiting. I love the food. I love the culture. I'm 50% pure Cajun. What does that mean? It means Cajun actually is a mix of various races, including, no, originally from Nova Scotia. It includes, Native American. It includes Spanish. It includes Haitian. It's a whole lot. Uh, so the other half is my mom. Her folks are Irish and British and Italian. So a whole lot of a lot. Uh, it's funny because all of my other siblings have darker, not dark, but the tan skin you expect from the Cajuns, dark hair, dark skin, and I came out just bright, bright white. I was actually born with bright red hair, which eventually turned blonde and now got kind of you know brownish or whatever. But uh, that was the big thing down there was I didn't look like my siblings. Was told I was the mailman's baby, which wasn't true. Obviously, it was just a way to mess with you as a kid and make you think crazy things. But some of the other things, back, kind of full circle. Some of the other things that I'd like to do when I get to the state house, and I've talked about this before, is bringing some economic development here. I want to attract the good careers to this area. I'd like to see some of these big open, you know, areas And I'm not talking about people's fields. I'm talking about these abandoned factories. I'd like to see them get utilized, right? They're just sitting there. The old Anco wiper plant. I think that's a great location for some company that wants land that they don't have to spend a bunch of money for. It's been empty for years and years and years. I'd like to pull development here. I'd like to get a good quality set of careers going on up here. And I think it's our job as state rep to make that happen, right? We can facilitate the conversations, facilitate the necessary investment, and we need to be going to these businesses, not just hoping that they pick us, right? We need to be initiating the contact. We need to be initiating what we want from them and what we can do for them to want to be here. I think these are all crucial roles. Also, we need to have someone who's going to be willing to be a liaison, willing to facilitate if you are stuck in the state system, right? So one of the things that the state has complete control over is the Medicaid system. If you are on the Medicaid waiver, right, which has a considerable waiting list, and you don't know what's going on, state rep needs to be aware of that and help you navigate that. The system's there for a reason. The assistance is there for a reason, and there are those people that need it. A lot of times, a lot of times people don't realize what assistance is out there. I think as a state rep, it's important that you educate people. There are so many programs that are set up, and this, we pay for it. Our tax dollars pay for it, but the system is there. The assistance is there. A lot of people just aren't aware of all the assistance that's out there and how to utilize it, because the way that the system is actually set up, it's set up to give you the assistance you need and allow them to get themselves up, to help themselves up. For example, a lot of stuff has been made about the welfare system and the changes that were made to it. But in Indiana, the way that it's set up, and is it perfect? No, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it is, because it's not. I can go on for quite a while about things that I'd like to see changed about it. But at its core, the system is set up to give you the assistance that you need to get your life on track. Again, is it perfect? No, absolutely not. There are changes that could be made to make it better for everyone, taxpayers included. But like the so-called umbrella welfare system, right? It is set up so that you can apply, you can get the assistance that you need. You get, whether it's the SNAP benefits, the way, the rental assistance, all of these things. There's a system that's set up in order for you to get your degree and to take care of you until you get the degree, and then you're able to go out and get a job. It's, again, there are ways that it could be vastly improved, but here's the thing: at its base level, that's what it's supposed to do. That's how it's supposed to be set up, and it's what it's supposed to accomplish as a goal. There are those who abuse the system, just like there are those who don't utilize the system to the fullest extent possible. There are ways that we can improve it, and there are tweaks that can be made without removing. One of the things that was attempted during the last administration was to streamline Social Security. And of course, the news media ran, "Oh my goodness, they're cutting Social Security." That's not what happened. The office expenses were trying to be reduced. Benefits did not change. Now, given that, I don't know if you've tried to contact Social Security lately, but from what I understand, they are very, very backed up. It takes a very long time and this isn't new, but my understanding is it's gotten considerably worse. Um, they take forever to respond. They take forever to do anything, and it's not an ideal system. Now, obviously, Social Security is federal. I don't have much control over that, but uh, some of the ways that we can fix things on a state level and a local/county level is to make sure that these government entities are operating efficiently, that they're not burning money wastefully, but that they're providing the services that they need to. And I'd like to see, accountability on multiple levels. So I hope that we have the opportunity to have some change here. And look, if you elect me and I don't do my job, get rid of me in 2 years. It's that easy. Get out, vote, choose. When I say vote for the world you want, I mean that. If you want someone who just says things and doesn't actually accomplish much, then, stay home, accept the status quo. If you want someone that you're going to have the opportunity to hold accountable and to say, hey, you said you were going to do this, how's it coming? And I'm going to give you updates, then, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Give me an opportunity. And like I said, 2 years, if I'm not doing what you like, by all means, vote someone else in. I am absolutely certain that I will be opposed, whether it's in the. Here's the thing, and this, I'm just going to say this. I have no doubt that regardless of what I do, I will likely make both sides angry, because, and I'm by both sides, I mean Democrats and Republicans, because I don't think that a lot of I wouldn't say a lot, I will just say there are plenty on the right who claim to be conservatives or claim to want what's best for the little guy or the blue collar, and they vote for the opposite. I am not. I'm going to vote for what's best for my district, the entirety of my district, and that will be consistently what I vote for. Now, I understand that that it's not so easy to change the system. It is not so easy to go there and make everything happen your first term. I understand. I also understand that there's a certain degree of, I don't want to say give and take, but that's kind of how it is, right? You vote for this, I'll vote for that. You vote for this, I'll vote for that. I have every intention of doing the very best that I can, and I will tell you that it doesn't matter whether it's tit for tat or not that's offered. I'm not going to vote for things that are bad for my district. I'm just not. And I know I keep going back to the casino, but it's a prime example of someone just voting for that's someone voting for what they are told to vote for, what their party tells them to vote for. I'm not a puppet. It's just the reality. I don't know if you guys, want real change. I hope you do. I hope you want someone that's going to that's going to fight for you and fight to improve the lot of us. Um, that's what I offer. And am I perfect? Hell no. Hell no. Of course not. I'm a human. No human is perfect. Um, we are here. We have to do the best we can. So, 3 days. We're almost there, one way or another. I'll be really glad when this is over with, one way or another, because I'm so tired. Uh, it's a lot being a candidate, and for those of you that I seriously urge you to look into running for office. And I know it sounds very, very daunting, especially those people who have never considered it before, because the people we actually want in office are the ones that are generally like, yeah, no, I'm good. And I want more of us to at least consider it. And by us, I mean regular Americans. I want more of us to focus and look at, okay, what needs to be done exactly? What is a position that I could actively change, right? Whether that's school board, whether that is state rep, county council, mayor, be the change that you want to see. Vote for the world that you want. And not just the world, but locally. I urge all of you, and even look, especially if you have a different opinion than I do about the issues that are important, run for office. Run for office. Get out there. If you just cannot find the time to campaign, I get it. Find a candidate that aligns with you and assist them. We're up on it now. We're almost out of time, but there are lots of people who, after this election, are going to say, I could do that. Or, wow, I really like what this person says. Or they're going to come out and they're going to say, I have every intention of running for such and such seat. Use this time to learn about these people. I know right after the election, oh my God, we're all so tired of politics. I get it. Like right after the election, it's like, oh man, I'm glad that's over. I don't want to hear about anybody running for anything at all. Just enough, right? But use that time. Use that time, especially if you hear someone's thinking about running, or the person that just got elected, or especially the incumbent that was retained. Use this time to learn about them. What have they done? What did they say they're going to do? Look, use that opportunity. Learn about them. Learn about the position they're running for, or they ran for, or they just won. And ask yourself, why can't I do this? Because you can. The current sitting commissioner, Sheila, and I'm talking about LaPorte County, Indiana, for those of you who may be watching somewhere else. The current sitting commissioner was given a speech at the League of Women Voters, and she said, "This is not a time for rookies. Experience matters. Government is complicated." And I don't care what party you are. If you are so out of touch that you believe that the average citizen doesn't have the capacity to run their government, then you believe you're an elite because you think you do, right? So you are above. And it really comes across as, it's okay, kitten. You just sit there. I will run the government for you. I will take care of it. You just sit there. Shh, be quiet. We do need more rookies. As a matter of fact, I want the entire system, top to bottom, to be nothing but rookies, because that's what it's going to take to fix it. We're going to all have to look at what's going on and go, unacceptable. That's not going to work. Let's change it. Because let's face it, the way that things are right now, both parties, is very much fixed against rookies. Most of the system is rigged. It just is. And unless we get in there to try to fix it ourselves, that they're under no obligation. There's no reason for them to fix the system when it's working for them, right? Simple. So I agree that we have to step up, and we have to start electing more people to give them an opportunity to check it out. It is what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you'll give me an opportunity to represent you in Indianapolis, and to represent District 9 from Chesterton to Rolling Prairie. It's a great area. It's a great area. Thank you very much. And hey, I'm here. Regardless of what happens, hopefully I win, obviously, but I plan on continuing the show. I've had a number of people ask me, so if you win, can we count on you? Obviously, it won't be every night, but yeah, it won't be different. I don't know that it'll always be at 7. I'm not sure. We'll probably change it up a little bit if elected, but So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you. Please vote. Even if you don't vote for me, please go vote. God bless you. God bless Indiana. God bless the United States of America.